All right, guys, cruising right along here. We're still in week 3. Let's talk about networking and team building. So, multifamily is a team sport. I say that all the time because these are big buildings and it's a lot of money. There's a lot of zeros. There's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of profits. There's freedom. There's lifestyle. There's all these big things, right? So, it takes a team. That's one of the harder lessons. I'll just be honest with you. I'll share something personal. For me, has been learning to work with other people. It's not that I don't like other people. I just always have this staunch individuality, and that just doesn't work in multifamily. I mean, it worked for me in single family, but for me to get into my first couple hundred units in multifamily, I definitely had to work as a team, learn how to network, and that's what we're going to talk about during this video. So let's get into it. Here's kind of a summary of what we're going to go over. We're going to go to events and join groups, identify targets, add value first. That's huge. We'll talk a lot about that. Be a professional sounds pretty basic, but unfortunately it's not. A lot of people don't know what that means exactly. Think from their viewpoint. We talked about that with the brokers. It's also really important with your networking. So events and groups, let's dive right in. Virtual groups, meaning there's a lot of, actually I'll just show you guys a couple of these. So there's all kinds of groups you can get into, right? Some of them are virtual. A lot of the real estate conventions now are virtual. You've got like Rod Khleif does a virtual boot camp. You've got Brad Sumrock does in-person events. Obviously Grant Cardone has, in my opinion, some of the best training and some of the best, largest group events to network. So you really have to, for some people, networking comes natural. It's like what they want to do. That's who they are. For other people, if you're more introverted, maybe analytical minded, you don't like that as well. But in this business, you have to learn to do it. It actually can be fun. I'm kind of, when people meet me, they think I'm extroverted, but I'm actually an introvert. And I actually enjoy being alone. I like to think and work on projects and do things, and I like to be alone. So I actually have to kind of push myself to get out into these groups, and it's 100% necessary in this field, guys. You have to go to these, you have to hit these virtual groups. I'd also say in terms of virtual groups, get on Facebook, get into the groups, start to look at the people in the groups, start to engage with the content, and definitely go to events. I mean, if you're going to build your team, you have to go to live events. That's all there is to it. We're going to talk a little bit about getting outside your comfort circle, and I want to go into identifying targets now. So whether you're in a virtual room, a Facebook group, or you're in a virtual event, that's a little harder virtual, but in person, you always want to notice who the top 5 people you want to connect with are. So these are going to be the people of high influence. What is high influence? Let's just be honest. The people with a lot of money and a lot of units. I mean, let's just cut to the chase here. You want to get to know the people that have a lot of units, have a lot of money, and also maybe what we would call the rising stars. I've often been called a rising star in multifamily. I'm actually speaking at an event as a rising star. So people that are going to be, that either can be your key principal, which is, they have the net worth to sponsor the deal. That's part of your team when you're talking to the broker. Yeah, now I have 5,000 units because I joined with Jim, and Jim's got 5,000 units. So that's the type of people. You're definitely always looking for those type of people. But you're also looking for people that are aggressive and that want to get stuff done. I consider myself a very aggressive person in business, and people want to team up with me because they can just tell that I'm aggressive and that I'm out doing stuff and I'm making shit happen. And so you're going to want to look for those people as well. But what I want you to do when you go into a room is I want you to identify 5 people and make it a point to contact them. Set a goal to connect with each one of them and exchange information with them. You don't want to spend too long trying to pick their brains or pull them away, because when these guys are at events, and I know this from experience, when I'm at an event, there's a lot of people that want to come up to me and talk to me, and that's great. I love that, but you also have to be aware that that person is also trying to make their connections, and they're also trying to talk to the right people. So, no offense, but if you're someone that's brand new and you're a newbie, it's okay to grab their attention, ask them if it's okay to contact them, exchange information, but don't sit there and ask them all these questions, follow them around. just know your limits. Like, it's a weird analogy, or not a weird analogy, it's a perfect analogy. It's like when I'm talking to girls, or when I used to, try to meet girls, it's like you don't just hang out and talk to them. You just kind of get their information and then move on. It's the same thing with business. You want to get the information that you need, be respectful of their time, and then get out of their way and let them go on with what they need. So, okay, add value first. So this is the number one lesson in business and networking. I mean, if you want to be rich, the one thing, if you can master adding value first, like that's why a lot of the stuff that I do, I give away. Just because when you can bring value to the table first, people want to work with you. They want to reciprocate what you give them. So in terms of working with people, it's sometimes hard, and that's good that it's hard, because as an entrepreneur, you need to be able to figure this out. You need to be able to figure out how I can bring value to that person. Let's say you've got this guy, he's a KP, which was a key principal, also known as a sponsor, and he's got 5,000 units. His name's Jim, and he's busy, and he's making millions, and he's in the Caribbean half the year, and he's doing whatever. This guy he's got it figured out, and you want to work with him. So how are you going to add value to that person? Well, one of the ways you can do it is, in my book, I talk about 5 different ways that you can buy apartments with zero down, and it has to do with finding deals, with networking, making connections, raising capital. There's all these different value areas, and basically they are the 5 ways in my book. If you haven't got my book, check it out. It's on Amazon. But you have to bring value. So maybe you bring value to them by raising money. So, okay, I'm going to become a money raiser, and I'm going to learn everything about money raising. And in my book, I talk about that, and there's some great resources on how to do that. Become a specialist in that. That's a pretty hard thing to do. I mean, it's something that absolutely has to be done if you want to be long-term in this business. You do need to learn that skill. But what I would suggest right out of the gate is finding out what that guy's looking for, and then bringing him deals. Now, if he's super advanced, maybe that's not going to work as well. But in general, one of the best ways that you can add value to someone is by finding deals. And so I want to go into this a little bit. That doesn't mean that you get from your inbox, because we taught you how to get deals to your inbox. You should have a full inbox now of deals. It doesn't mean you look at a deal and forward it to me and say, Brad, what do you think about this? You know how many people do that to me, and also to all of my friends that I talk to in this business? Like, that does not work. If you want to add value, you need to actually underwrite it. Use a model. Use my model. Use the multifamily deal analyzer, and actually plug the numbers in, and then write out a nice little synopsis, a paragraph with some bullet points of why you like the deal, why you don't like the deal. Chances are, if you do all that stuff, you're probably going to find out it's not a good deal, and you're not going to send it to me. But if you take the time to actually analyze the deal, and we're going to talk about that next week on how to analyze deals. Some deals you just analyze with napkin, and then you just throw them away immediately. Like 95% of your deals you're just going to throw away. But the other 5%, you take the time to analyze them, and then you summarize some bullet points, and you send that over to your KP or to this gym guy and say, look, I'm really interested in this deal. Can I get your feedback? Here's what I have found. Here's my concerns. Here's what I like. Here's what I don't like. Like, you actually put time in, and you actually are showing that you have intelligence, and that you've actually analyzed the deal, and you've looked at it. Like, you're not just forwarding the deal and be like, oh, cool, I hope he likes it. Like, that's not adding value, guys. As a matter of fact, it's disrespectful. And it takes away from your value is what it does. So add value first. Find these deals, analyze these deals, only get the good ones, take the good ones, go deep analyze, use the multifamily analyzer tool or deal analyzer, and figure out what's good about the deal, what's not good about the deal. And maybe you have a couple questions. So you may send an email that says, hey, I really like this, this, and this, but I am concerned because I saw this. Maybe you can give me some insight. That's how you do it. That's how you network. Another thing with people is always compliment them on what they're doing well, and then they're going to be more likely to help you. That's kind of just a how to win friends and influence people type of point, but you need to be willing to let them know why you value them, and then bring value to them, if that makes sense. Okay, be a professional. So, consistency. Consistency is huge, guys. So, like, you can't just show up once and then not show up again. Like if you're going to be at these events and you're going to make this a career, just keep going to the events. Yeah, maybe you miss one, no problem. But just keep going to the events. People see, people take note. They have like a mental cue of how often you're there. How often are you presenting? How often are you raising your hand? How often are you sending deals? How often are you at these events? And where do you sit in the event? Do you sit in the front? Do you ask questions? Do you get involved? Do you go to the mixers and do you talk to people? Are you friendly? All those things. Another one that is huge is communication lag time. Actually, this is phenomenal. You guys have to learn that the longer what is communication lag time? Communication is the time it takes for you to get back to me or to anybody. So I send you a deal or you send me a deal, or let's see, let me think about this for a second. So if you decide that you want to work with me and you send me a deal and then I ask you a question, right? So you send me like da 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 da, like you do that write up like we talked about, and you go into detail about what you think about the deal, blah blah blah. So I write back and I say, this is great. Have you talked to the broker? And then I don't hear from you for 3 days. Well, okay, right there, it's dead in the water. And let me tell you why. Because people judge everybody that you're getting ready to work with. Let me back up and give a frame here. Everybody that you're looking to network with and work with here, you're basically getting ready to become married to them in a building. So it's even worse than marriage in terms of commitment, because not that marriage is bad, but it's a longer commitment than marriage, because even if in a marriage, you can just get divorced and separate. In this building, you have to be with this person for a long time. So if every single thing you're doing is being watched by these people, if you're wanting to work with them, they're paying attention to everything, and communication lag time is a huge indicator of future response. So if it takes you 3 days to get back and they're like, oh, I was sorry, my other job as a real estate agent had me really busy. Well, that's great. I know right there I don't want to work with you. Nothing personal, but you're not professional. You're not getting back quickly. So lag time, guys, huge. People watch that major. Dress, email, website, obviously dress professionally. You don't want to just be, multifamily is a little bit different. Like in single family and in the investor world in single family, yeah, you can kind of wear some stylish clothes that are like, a little more casual and kind of be yourself, have your own style. But in multifamily, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. And you're talking about like presenting yourself to people with, asking people for their retirement money to put into buildings. This industry, you have to dress up and you have to be professional. I mean, you don't have to be wearing a suit and tie like I am in the picture up there in the corner, but you should be wearing a collared shirt and you should be looking nice. And women, you know how to dress. I definitely don't know how to explain that, but be professional. Have a custom email. We've talked about that. Have a website. It's not that hard. You don't have to have all this stuff right out of the gate, guys, but these are things that you need to work towards. Email, website, business cards if you like. A lot of people use those digital business cards. I absolutely hate them because nobody uses the same program. It doesn't actually like go into your contacts very well. So I still like the regular business cards. Modeling. Watch what the people that have what you want are doing. And model it with your own personality. Don't copy. There's a difference between copying and modeling. Like the fastest way to be successful is see someone that's where you're at or where you want to go and to emulate what they do. That's really it. Like that's the fastest way. So modeling is amazing. And I just realized that I spelled professional wrong, so you guys are going to have to deal with the double F there. Sorry about that. And then focus on, this last one is so huge. Focusing on what you don't know, you don't know. Okay, this is a game changer. Most of us, including myself at times, I've really been focusing on this recently, are blind to what we don't know we don't know. Like, there's the things you know, the things you know that you don't know, and then there's the things that you don't know that you don't know. And that last one, the things you don't know that you don't know, that should scare the shit out of you, straight up. Because that is where you should be focusing. You should be like, what is the information that Grant Cardone has that I don't have? He knows something. And sometimes he knows to stay away from certain things. Like sometimes it's less, like he knows not to drink alcohol or not to do these certain things or not to talk this way about other people or whatever. Sometimes it's a takeaway too, but just really in everything you do, a lot of these lessons, go outside of multifamily as well, but in everything you do, you should really be focused on what is it that I don't know that I don't know? Like, what am I missing? And if you stay in that creative mind space, it puts you in a state of expansion. And then you can start to really, it goes back to modeling too. You watch these people and you watch how they act and you ask yourself, why are they like that? What is the reason? And there's all these little subtle principles in life and business that it just takes time to learn. I mean, I think some people learn them faster than I have, and I know I've still got a lot to learn, but as you get older, you start to see these subtle principles, and there are things that you don't know that you don't know. So be very afraid of those things. And the reason I say be afraid, I want you to have like diligence to find them. Like, what is it that I don't know that I don't know? And as soon as you realize, oh, I don't know that, now you know that you don't know that, and you can actually start to shine light into the darkness. So I know that's a little bit esoteric, guys, but it's super important to have that focus. Okay, think from their viewpoint. Why would they want to work with you? Like, we'll go back to Jim. He's got 5,000 units. He's in the Caribbean. You're sending him an email with like 2 lines saying, check out this operating memorandum. It's gonna be like, he won't even open that. Like, why does he want to work with you? Well, he wants to work with you because you did a full analysis. You sent him a complete spreadsheet in the multifamily deal analyzer, and it shows everything. It shows, then you do a summary that says, here's the AAR, here's the IRR, here's the equity multiple, here's the cash flow, here's a model with 40% equity, here's a model with 50% equity. Quick summary, what do you think? This looks like a home run to me. Here's why. Then he's going to be like, holy shit, this guy knows what he's doing. This guy could be an analyst. And basically, when you come into a multifamily group, one of the best skills and one of the starting points, like if you go work at a multifamily firm, one of the starting points is an analyst. You just analyze properties. So you need to learn how to use the multifamily deal analyzer. You need to learn how to understand what all these terms are, AAR, IRR, and we're going to talk about this. This course is not by any means a full dive into that, but this is a course that gets you dangerous and gets you involved with a team and gets you moving forward. So what makes them want to work with you? Well, how much value are you bringing to the table? How many other people are hitting them up? How do you separate yourself from the other people? The people that are just sending them OMs. Check this out. Are you interested in this? You need to be more detailed. What sets you apart? That's exactly what we're talking about. So, okay, guys. So in summary, go to events. You won't be successful unless you get out there and get involved. Identify targets. Every time you go to an event, virtual or regular, I want you to pick 5 people and say, my goal is to get 5 people's contacts. And I want you to know who they are. Like the top 5, say, I want to meet John, I want to meet Jim, I want to meet Stacy, I want to, like these people. And you're going to know because they're going to be the people that are sitting in the front, the people that the person's calling on, the people that are, have deals. Get in front of those people, identify your targets, add value first. Of course, you can ask them a couple questions and get their contact info, but when you do reach back out to them, add value. Be a professional, be consistent, and think from their viewpoint. So that is just kind of a mini course on networking, super important. And just remember, whatever you do, people are watching, and they're gonna formulate their opinions not so much on what you say, but on what you do and how you act, how you hold yourself, how much lag time there is when you communicate. So be on top of it, and you'll excel quickly.